I'm going to go on there and be like, I'm sorry for how I made you feel with my comments. I'm going to seek therapy.
I'm sorry if my comments made you feel a way that you shouldn't have.
Exactly.
That's my favorite apology, where it's like, that doesn't count.
That's every.
Sorry if by some weird way you took the thing that I did as not perfect.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you noticed.
Sorry.
I'm not
allegations of me saying things that might have hurt your feelings.
I'm sorry that you saw through the lies.
Yeah, that would be. I would love for
you.
someone who's like, "I'm sorry you caught me. I'm bad, and I was bad again, and you caught me, and I'm kind of sorry, but I'll probably keep doing it." I'd like to see that apology.
that'd be a lot better than what I've seen.
You got me. I suck. Anyway, sorry this time.
Honeys, we're home. Hello, and welcome to Sinclairity, a Dinosaurs Tale. I am your host, We're Gonna Need Another Timmy, along with my co-host.
Hey, this is Ben Hand Up Me, live from the Keystone Studios.
Cincinnati. Oh my God, I know, and you know what I noticed, Ben, is Zach has a nice little coffee project record back there.
Oh yeah, you know I knew you would like that.
Coffee, yeah, paper and plastic all day, every day.
Don't they owe you money?
No, they never really promised to pay me, so I guess
that's a good job set up.
Yeah. Welcome to the one and only podcast on the internet about the show Dinosaurs.
No, there's several others. I just noticed that there is a Brad Neely comic like painted on wood on his wall. That's fucking wild. I'm gonna live here. I'm gonna move into Zach's basement. I'm currently here with our producer Zach's house. The only other person here right now is his 14-year-old son somewhere. I didn't see him, and he told me I'm not babysitting. So if he gets hurt, I'm not allowed to intervene. So I'm not a part of that.
That's right. And if he asks you about Wonder Years, then you just tell him all the good stories you got about
the show or the band.
The band.
Oh, okay. No, I'll talk about the show.
Doesn't he like that band?
I don't know. He's 14. What do 14-year-olds like?
He liked it.
Dabbing.
Whatever.
He hits dabs. He's really into weed because his dad's a straight edge.
No, God. There's nothing better than disappointed straight edge dad.
But speaking of disappointed straight edge dads, we have a guest today's episode. I'm working on my segues really hard. We have Sarah Shockey from the Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling podcast, as well as other stuff. I mean, you're a frequent guest on Hello from the Magic Tavern. You're on ESPN for air guitar judging. Or what was that? I don't even know what happened there. Tim told me about it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, first of all.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
I, through a series of fun events, have been working with the U.S. Air Guitar Championships for a long time. And like 7 or 8 years ago, they asked me to be a guest judge. And I was so stressed out about that because I didn't want to ruin the sport. And I had recently come into pro wrestling and I came in a little hot. So I was like, I really wanted to be respectful of I don't know really what this is. It's the coolest thing ever. People just go on stage. They do routines about 30 seconds, air guitar, and they're graded on their technique, their airness, their ability to sell basically. And this year they got a deal with ESPN because the United States is the only chapter of air guitar worldwide that still had a competition because it was COVID times. They had everybody film from home, submit videos. And then after a bunch of people were vaccinated, filmed an ESPN broadcast at Subterranean, not a terrarium, in June. And I got to do the backstage interviews just like it was wrestling. And it was so much fun. And they even outfitted me in a nautical bathing suit with a sheer skirt that I got to pick out off of a website. I've never felt more like a seaside princess in my life. Amazing. ESPN Plus is where you can find that.
The Ocho.
Yeah.
ESPN 8 The Ocho.
Was it the Ocho, right? The Ocho?
The Ocho's back. They did a day of programming with kids bagging groceries like out in the middle of nowhere, corgi races with their little puffy butts. Like, it's a blissful day. ESPN 8 PO show. Like, it's, and then we went second to last. There was like a bunch of stuff going on, and I don't remember who was closing it out, but it was another good broadcast of, you know, sports that we take seriously enough.
Yeah.
Sports entertainment.
Entertainment.
I was surprised that wasn't called for this because there's a photo of me from when I was 8 at a Hard Rock Cafe where we were seated on like the stage section because I guess there's like tables on there. This is the only time I've been to a Hard Rock Cafe. I don't really know their layout. But I started playing air guitar during a song, unaware that everybody in the building was watching me do this until the song was over and I sat down and people were clapping and I was embarrassed and I never went back.
So you feel that somebody years later should have remembered that moment and tracked you down from that photograph and made sure that you can just go. Yeah. Any local chapter will let you go do an air guitar routine. Like,
they have
just
to ask
go
me.
To their website. It's bananas. Like, people get up for the first time drunk as a joke, and in 3 years they're champions. It's bananas. And it's much more accessible than pro wrestling. You don't have to have a ring. You don't even have to have a guitar.
Well,
but Ben is 6'5" though, so
if they like it, they better put a ring on it.
Everybody likes height, you know. Anytime you see a big guy walking around that's not air guitar, wrestling, or ninja warrior, it's like wasted potential. You got to be on TV if you're tall.
You got to get the airport test.
I just looked up the tallest guitar players.
Absolutely.
Joey Ramone is 6'6".
That meat, slapping meat.
You know
but
what? What Tim also is a professional guitar player.
So, I play air drums. It's different.
Oh yeah.
Completely different. Two industries. They don't even talk to each
other. So Sarah is back. If you know, we had Sarah and Marty.
Marty and I are doing fine, but I told you I didn't want to talk about it. No, Marty was supposed to do the podcast today, but he booked a commercial. He's a successful actor. He needed to be out in the burbs today, so I said, I'll cover us both. But give me your thoughts on the steroid episode of Dinosaurs, please.
Do you have like an impression? Can you like voice Marty when you talk about like puppeting? I guess since it's a show about puppets. I have to wonder whether you have like a good Marty voice.
God, do I have a good Marty voice? He's just so pleasant. And he does so many other voices that just wreck and destroy me. But you know what I'll give you is we always come together on doing an impression of Dave Prazak, where you'll be like, oh, those guys don't even know what's going on. And then we'll go, no, they do not. And that's like the closest thing to me to what Marty sounds like is when he's doing an impression of Dave Prazak.
I mean, that sounded like Marty, just there.
Hey, buddies. It's Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling. He sounds a little like Colt in my mind. When I do the impression, it sounds like I could be doing either Marty or Colt. Studio apartment.
I was gonna try and do Unky Rick, but I can't do Unky Rick. Unky Rick kills me every time, though.
It's too hard to do him casually because Marty can at least control the filth that wants to come out of his mouth. If you're not ready for it, you'll start saying like some of the worst words on the planet and not know why. And it's because Unky Rick's the spirit and he'll possess you.
Charlotte. I love Charlotte.
That's how it started, was on the way to Rosemont to Allstate. Marty would just do Ric Flair talking about all the places that he had hooked up with women. And then he would start thinking about how much fun he had. And then he would get emotional about how much he loved his daughter, Charlotte. And we would be like, you have to stop making us laugh. Like the driver's going to drive off the road.
And since we keep talking about wrestling, and that's only because today's episode we're doing season 3 episode 15, Steroids to Heaven, which came out February 12th 1993.
Wow.
Yeah,
I was not allowed to watch Dinosaurs as a kid, and you know what? They took away a show that really is very wittily written and probably would have benefited me more than it would have harmed me.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely hindered your growth to not be able to. You
learned a lot. You can see that I'm lacking, and it's because I didn't grow up on Dinosaurs or The Simpsons.
Yeah, I mean, also, like, you would have avoided that whole year in high school taking steroids and becoming a dinosaur if you would have known the lesson at the end of the episode.
You know, let's get into it, because I have a lot of thoughts.
So this is like the most famous episode, I feel like, because there was a Funny or Die video that was like viral about it. About the dinosaurs when Robbie got jacked on steroids. It was like the very special episode series.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we love watching those.
Yeah, so we've been waiting on this one for like a fucking long time. 3 seasons.
Yeah,
and Marty couldn't even show up for it.
I know. Marty secretly booked another day, and he had a lot to say already about the situation.
He didn't want you to see him with his spikes.
Yeah. Yep. That was what it was.
Thornoids. What do they call them? Thornoids?
Thornoids? Yeah. I would have gone with like triceroids or something. They didn't really try that hard.
Triceroids.
But they already got triceratops as one of the things, the puns they use in the show.
Yeah.
So they couldn't just reuse it.
Yeah.
But this is another, the last episode that you were on was directed by Rachel Bilson's grandfather, Bruce Bilson, and so is this one.
Wow, Bruce Bilson. You know, I would say in both of them, like, there's some acting moments, like, from the dinosaurs and just in general that are, like, extremely well done, where it's like, oh, you are, like, an artist of this craft. And I found out yesterday, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a documentarian, and she said that on the set of Secretariat, there's a guy whose full job is just making sure that the grass and like grounds are the right colors for scenes. And he takes it very seriously and everybody loves him. And he's got like different paints and all these like different methods and stuff. And she's like, it's his full-time job is just be on set, making sure that the grass looks right. And he's like an angel at it. And I feel like Dinosaurs had a lot of people like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, the Henson Studios were just like a wild place to work in general. Like the amount of work that goes into every single episode. I mean, it was millions of dollars.
Dude, Kermit riding a bike in that first Muppet movie, like almost broke everybody's brains, but they did it.
See, and I don't even get to appreciate that as being born after like Jurassic Park, where I just assume everything can be done.
I wasn't allowed to see Jurassic Park, but I did ask my mom if we could pray for the people at the park after I was told the premise and why I wasn't allowed to go see it.
That's so sweet. That's why it didn't come real. Hopefully, you prayed against it.
Hopefully,
nice.
Hopefully you helped them. I'm pretty sure the lawyer went to hell, unfortunately.
I think my family was so exhausted of me where they're like, we know this movie's going to break your brain, so you can't go see it. And then I'm like, well, tell me about the movie. And then her telling me about the movie broke my brain to be like, can't we stop it? We can't. Can God stop it? I'll ask him.
My friend Olivia was not allowed to watch a Harry Potter movie unless she could get through The Mummy. Her mom said it was scary.
That's a weird.
I was like, The Mummy's definitely scarier.
Connection.
Yeah. Like I think she was maybe like 6 or 7 years old and watched The Mummy, and of course was not able to take it. But that is not the same level of fear as like.
I feel like Roger Rabbit would have been the equivalent.
I had to leave the room during Roger Rabbit.
But it's not. It's like Harry Potter scary.
Yeah. Well,
not like The Ring scary.
I was just talking about this yesterday. There was a scene in Roger Rabbit where he gets chased by the scary redhead woman that's not Jessica Rabbit, and when he's in Toontown, and for some reason when I was a kid, I couldn't be in the room during that scene. I would leave the room and hide.
I would leave the room when Belle went into the West Wing for Beauty and the Beast, because I was like, he told her not to go in there, and she's getting in trouble, and I don't want to see the consequences.
Oh no, I might get in trouble.
She's gonna get in trouble.
I don't want to see anyone get in trouble.
I see mine as E.T. I think E.T. scared the crap out of me because not only is he like
pieces.
He's a creepy, he's like shuffling around and then he's like dead in a creek, like he's like pale white, and then they bring him home after that and the fucking spacemen are like breaking into their house. Like it's so
there's
scary.
no living in E.T. Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch that one either. And then my friends would want to put it on, and I'd always have this like moral battle with myself as to like whether I would like play it cool and not really watch, but also like it was such a freaking, I wasn't allowed to see anything.
Like a Dare commercial.
Not watching.
Don't know why I'm not allowed to
sex
see
scenes
this.
with your parents.
We weren't allowed to watch Woody Woodpecker because he was disrespectful.
That's fair. I think disrespectful is a bad like he's
a protagonist and he's disrespectful.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Bugs Bunny.
Jones.
But Bugs Bunny's disrespectful in a very charismatic way. Woody Woodpecker's a little more annoying, in my opinion.
I don't think I watched I don't think I watched Woody Woodpecker. I was aware of his gimmicks. His whole shtick. I know
already seen it, brother.
Yeah. I saw him coming from a mile away. I didn't need it. I didn't need it in my life. I didn't have regular Looney Tunes.
So we got Mr. Bilson at the head of this home.
Yeah.
And then Mark Drop, who I've never seen write an episode yet.
Son of Mike Drop, the most famous like slam rapper, I guess. Whatever.
Mike Drop?
Yeah, Mike Drop. No, but Mark Drop, the only credit I have is wrote for the show Recess. I don't think he did much else.
That was one of my favorite shows of all
Recess
time.
Is great.
I didn't even tell my parents about that one. I was like, you will not take this away from me.
So say they didn't think that one.
The Weekenders and Recess for a little while really got me through.
I don't know if I watched The Weekenders.
So good.
What era was that?
It was like I was a little old to be watching cartoons, like maybe 7th, 8th grade. Yeah, but I really needed them, and they told great stories. The Weekenders were like 4 friends. It was like either 3 guys and a girl or 2 guys and 2 girls.
I was 10.
And you would only see them on the weekends. And they would just have the most awesome weekends. And that's like where the episodes would take place. And you never have to see them in school. But then backed up with Recess, you only see them in school. So you get a whole week of programming on one Saturday morning, ABC, I think it was.
One Saturday morning. Yeah, that's right. ABC.
One Saturday morning.
Our good friend Tim Doyle, who roasted ABC on Twitter the other day, Ben. I don't know if you saw that.
Tim Doyle's one of the Dinosaurs writers who we've had on the show a couple times.
Yeah, and he loves to talk, and he loves to roast ABC. Probably because they like. Wait, was his show on ABC, man?
What, the one that I watched on Hulu or whatever? The Kids Aren't Alright?
Yeah. Was that on ABC?
It was on something. Yeah, it was ABC.
That's probably good. Why he roasted them. Because they canceled the show.
All the scoops coming out of Singularity.
But
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, the Weekenders. I guess I was 10. You know what happened here is I think we had cable in our house. So I didn't see anything that was on ABC at that point. I was
you were too busy with your VH1s and your Comedy Centrals.
Yeah, well, I was counting my money because we had a cable, so we were like fucking loaded. You know, we stole our cable, but we were loaded.
But yeah, when you have it, oof.
Yeah. I remember my brother's friend would bring over like this scramble cable box so we could watch wrestling pay-per-views.
Cheater box. That's what Marty and the gang used to use.
Yeah.
My mom was terrified of it. My mom thought they could like drive by, like police could drive by and like press something and know you have it.
Oh, that's great technology. We didn't have it then, but we have it now.
Yeah. Hopefully no one finds my AEW streams that I watch.
You're more concerned about that plumbing logo.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. I brought it up. And Chris was all like, man, don't say that.
I'm doing something here.
I was like, you should go to the Cincinnati show and wear that shirt.
Oh my! I missed that show. I didn't think I was going to be here in town for it because I live in New Orleans, or did. And then after the hurricane, I was like, you know what? Nobody told me that hurricane's down here. Like, it's just everybody just glossed over that fact. And then they totally did. They totally had a hurricane down there while I was down there, which I thought was rude. 3 of them since I moved in. But
crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've recorded during one and right before one.
During Hurricane Zeta, we recorded a bonus Halloween episode while I had to use candles. Candlelight. I did it over the phone, and my laptop had enough charge that I could still record my voice onto it. So we did a cool candlelight hurricane recording.
That's podcasting.
Yeah.
That's podcasting.
It's pod racing.
Now that's podcasting. And then we did Hurricane Ida this year the night before when it was building up. What's Issa doing?
She had to tell me she found a frog.
That is very important.
So yeah, there's a frog outside where they should be.
I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised Tim isn't leaving to go see this frog.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so Ben, what's the summary of this episode?
It's not about hurricanes in this episode. It's about a hurricane of emotions. Robbie tries to bulk up to impress a girl, but her attention seems to be drawn to a bigger guy named Dolph
Ziggler.
Lundgren. When exercise doesn't cut it for Robbie, he resorts to Thornoids and finds out his new bulky body comes at a high price.
That's right. That's right, kids. Remember, if you're gonna take steroids, like have them administered by a doctor. You got to be safe.
Be a horse. I think you're supposed to be a horse.
Be a horse.
I think they give steroids to horses. Isn't that true?
There's a story about wrestlers in the back of the locker room, and one of them hands the other one a full needle and is like, "Hey, can you, shoot this in my butt?" And then that person tried, and the needle didn't go in, and he just goes, "I think you're full up, brother." And these are famous people whose names I can't say. And I won't tell you them after we turn off because only Marty will remember who they are. So, but I remember that imagery and the idea of someone being quote unquote full up of steroids for the rest of my life. The needle won't even poke in.
Yeah, full up.
Oh my God.
That's how full.
I'm full up.
Full up, brother.
It was Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, allegedly. But they were wrestlers instead.
Yeah, I just like that the protagonist's name is Dolph. That's
Did you call him a protagonist?
He's not the protagonist. What is going on with you?
Wait,
he's like a side
nothing.
antagonist. He doesn't even cause much conflict. He's like a tool for the plot.
He's like the real Dolph Ziggler.
The real protagonist of this episode is the blue guy with the spikes.
With Spike?
Oh God, is his name Spike?
Yeah, that's the one voiced by.
I was calling him Eddie Kingadon.
I was thinking it was like an Andrew Dice Clay type character.
It's Chris Maloney.
He's like an honorable character in this episode. He was my.
He does come through because normally he's trying to red pill Robbie, but this one he goes a different way. He's always like, "Hey,
he was
Robbie."
Really a good friend in this episode. I was impressed with what a good friend he was.
Yeah, and anti-violence against women. Usually he's like, "I like it back when men controlled everything and we lived out in the woods, Robbie." And Robbie's just trying to be sweet, but
I mean, I can understand that though in some ways because then the men were leaving us alone too.
Oh yeah, I mean that. That's true. I feel like when I think about society and the way it developed, about how men decided to go and seek other tribes and meet, and I guess the point would be if a woman was pregnant or something, well, I'm gonna go do this part. I'm gonna go walk over there because if I get killed, at least the baby's fine. And then they meet up with other guys and they all when we get back there, let's pretend this was really hard and it's really hard to meet other tribes and we might go to war and then we get to do this forever.
That's just what business trips are nowadays.
Yeah.
You men are still pulling that. Oh my God, it's so hard to provide for you ladies when the women are just stop calling us witches. We're more mystical than you because we put more effort into raising souls on the planet. But, go off and let us not wear what we want to the beach.
Yeah. I'd say the big thing is even quote unquote nice guys benefit by pretending to be dumb about any kind of dichotomy and the way people are treated in society.
One of these days they'll wake up and take responsibility, but until then, these women are just going to keep the show rolling.
Exactly.
And the they-thems are going to do even more than the women. Mark my words.
I don't know.
That's right, Ben. So pick up that flag, okay?
I am currently wearing my trans flag boxers from MeUndies right now, which I'm gonna bleep that because they don't pay us. I can't tell you what MeUndies on here.
We only giving without a guarantee of a receipt, Ben.
We're only sponsored by Liquid Death. That's our only sponsor.
I'm sponsored by these photos behind me that Marty cut out of an Observer photo book and framed. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, don't betray their corporate interests. At least
I'm clearly sponsored by Fergal Devitt and his clothing company with the dinosaurs.
Nice.
I'm sponsored by Danny down at the NA meetings every week. I think we're both doing pretty well together. Although I think he's secretly still drinking, but it's fine. I'm not. He's sponsoring me.
Methany. Sorry, I'm making wrestling. Never mind. All right.
There's a wrestling joke about meth? There's no way.
MJF could cut this fucking promo about Cincinnati where he referred to Brian Pillman Jr.'s sister as Methany or his mom. Wow. It was his mom.
He's the most effective villain because that he's smarmily figuring out how to also get away with that as himself. It's crazy.
Yeah. It was brutal, Ben. I was trying to give you and Zach updates on Messenger, even though you wouldn't get the context. But I was trying to tell you about the Cincinnati promo. If I could find a video, I'll show you to it. Unless they don't put it online for various reasons. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just glad that, like always, Cincinnati and meth do go hand in hand still. So whatever this is, it's still ubiquitous around here.
You gotta pick up that flag too, Ben. You got a trans flag in the meth flag.
That's would just be like a David Sedaris book or something, like a 90s gay artist in New York book. It's the combination of those two things. Basketball Diaries. But so a little trivia about this episode that we're doing today. We can see this is like they have like the little like things on IMDb, and I just steal them. And sometimes they're like, I like this one. Like, this title is a parody of the 1971 song "Stairway to Heaven" by rock band Led Zeppelin. Like, really, "Steroids to Heaven" is a parody? That's
the only thing I would be able to contribute to IMDb trivia. Like, I would be like, think it's helpful. I'd be like, that's something I just noticed in case it helps somebody else.
See, and they let you click whether or not you think it's helpful, and it's always like 10 out of 15 people find this helpful, and it's good.
Just always click thumbs up on those. It doesn't do any harm.
That's true. That's a very like positive way.
The only person who cares is the person who posted it, so just give them a thumbs up.
Yeah, and if you care enough to post that, then you definitely are riding on that thumbs up. You need that thumbs up.
You need it.
I need that validation,
that juice.
Please. Like and subscribe.
But we can get into this little episode.
That was the only trivia you have for that episode?
They have one here, and I don't even understand what it says. It says, when Robbie kicks Charlene out of the bathroom and is looking at himself in the mirror, you can see the spike on his chest move when his arm brushes across it like rubber. I'm like, okay, but is it not? I don't know what it's supposed to move like.
Oh, that's a goof. That's not a trivia.
Exactly.
Because they're implying that because later in the episode, the spike really hurt Charlene, that it wouldn't be something that you would just jiggle with your hand, and they didn't take the time to reshoot that scene. But you know what?
I think that's based on his mood.
I actually think, though, that you could argue that the spike was so new that perhaps it was still forming and slightly gelatinous before later at the dance when it could have been, a rhinoceros point. But that's the kind of stuff you got to think of as a commentator to explain why there are chairs under the ring all the time. or why a move went very bad. You could be like, oof, well, because of the way their toe hit the ropes, which we had waxed a moment ago.
Because he was full up on steroids.
Didn't get all of it. The classic, didn't get all of it.
I never say didn't get all of it because I don't believe that I know everyone's intention. And sometimes maybe they wanted to get less of it.
Another positive way to interact with the world.
Do the
I'll keep them coming. Everybody's sick of my moral speeches, but people keep having me on their podcasts, and I keep sneaking them in.
It's amazing.
Well, let's get right into this.
That's a good thing to say after like 20 minutes. Let's get right into
this.
I'm
like, what were we not into?
So this episode, it starts off at Bob La Brea High School.
That's right.
Yeah. Was not lost on me, that tar pit reference.
Look, I definitely it was probably months into recording this podcast where I heard somebody talk about the La Brea tar pits. I was like, oh shit, I should probably write that down. I did not know about that.
I don't know why I knew about it, but I saw it and I laughed and I was like, all right, it's deep enough in my brain. The La Brea tar pits are their reference I have.
Yeah, I assumed it was referencing the La Brea piercing that like our producer Zach has, but it's either above a lip or below a lip. I don't know, but I guess it's a different thing.
It's just a pit where dinosaurs go to die.
Yeah. Well, they throw them when they're 82.
That's high school.
Yeah, that's high school.
And we get so we're back at school for a cold open. Mindy is now Caroline again.
They reuse the costumes and paint them a lot to be different characters.
Yeah. But every time I see Caroline, I just think Caroline from Outcast.
Caroline.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Yeah. So crash to a ditch. All right. So
I thought you were doing Dave Matthews Band now.
No, it's crash into me. I'm a creepy old man. That song's creepy.
Yeah. Well, Mindy is Caroline again, and she is the victim of Robbie's affection once again. This has been like a few different episodes. Robbie like has a crush on this Caroline character, has dated her before in different like. This is the thing when you have like a different writer almost every episode where they don't know what the characters have done already.
I, coming in from the outside, thought that this was a really good little, like, TV movie miniseries, but it almost felt like in the canon of Dinosaurs, it would exist, like, outside of it. Like, it felt like she's such a girlfriend type character to him that I was like, what is their relationship? Like, and they kind of Spike, like, gives a little exposition. But to me, I was like, oh, probably they've been flirting for a few episodes now, and it's time to shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, because Ben, wasn't he playing like mini golf with her in the Wereman episode?
Yeah, that's why I think it's like a Topanga situation, because like there's like every time they would address it in Boy Meets World, like they met at a different time or dated at a different time, but like you watched it happen on the show, so it was confusing.
Drives me bananas. Anytime love arcs are handled carelessly, it just like piss me off.
Yeah,
stupid Mark drop.
Better. This is before like Jim and Pam or Romeo and Juliet, so they didn't have like
Jim and Pam, the paragon of the best love story ever written. Get out of town. I'll kick your ass.
It's the basis for like all of love, like throughout history.
No, because then as soon as they get together, and you didn't, and I always said this, and I'm upset the whole episode. It's like, shut up.
They write it so
each
bad.
Other, you idiots.
The writing for that, it gets really bad in that.
That's what it bothers me, because they get so many things right, but when TV goes for a long time, they just need to hire like a team of like 4 sad girls to just make sure that the romance is flawless, and that there are moments where they almost get together, and then after they get together, you have to figure out how they face their challenges as a unit, because so often people get together and then the next idea is like, well, we have to make them be apart again so they can get together again. It's like, nobody wants to see that. They want to see them solidly be together, because otherwise what hope is there for all of us?
Yeah, I think that's what fanfics are for.
Yeah.
Like when I read my Office fanfics every day before
fanfics are amazing. You know, I was a big Team Rocket fan fiction reader, where it was like,
oh my god,
have to work together, and like,
that's amazing. This? I just watched an episode.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, of course it is. I just watched an episode last
Everything's
night.
a thing.
Where Meowth was being worshipped, and everybody in the episode was wearing cat ears, and I was just like, I text my friend. I was like, "Fuck, marry, kill, Jesse, James, Meowth," and they married all 3.
Mary, James, fuck Jesse, kill Meowth.
Yeah, I was like, kill Meowth, and the other, the same to me. Like,
yeah. Well, I just find James slightly more whimsical than Jesse. That's why I marry him.
He's hilarious. Like, there's like YouTube cuts. People make YouTube things of all of James's like best lines.
Jesse's so
and it's
pithy.
So
like they
funny.
need each other. They're a very good combo.
James also looks like great in drag. There's like several
He's
episodes.
so
like,
sexy in drag.
With when he has the huge boobs at the bikini
and
contest.
Jesse just like kind of will like implicitly accept it, but occasionally get a little embarrassed at how good he looks, which is I'm like, yeah, you guys are both on some beautiful spectrum where like Violet likes where you line up because she's red and he's blue. In the hair. I'm
surprised they have to do crime. Like, people should just be giving them money. They should have simps everywhere.
They should be just doing live shows, like you guys.
Exactly. That could be the thing.
That's what we're gonna do.
Jesse and James. Like, which voice do you do better, Tim?
Oh, it's James. I can't.
That was good.
I was expecting Jesse out of the gate, so that was good.
You think I'm more of a James?
You do Meowth. I think you do Meowth.
Meow, that's right. It's just like a New York accent with like the
it's a very weird New York accent they have going for that fucking cat. They got rid of Brock though. I was watching it and I found out Brock's not there anymore. It's some kid
Brock
named
is
Tracy.
Also hilarious in that show.
He's so good.
They didn't want him anymore. They have this guy Tracy who's nice, and my friend was like, look, there's a hot nurse and this guy Tracy isn't saying anything. I was like, oh yeah, why isn't he harassing her? Like,
damn it, where's the harassment?
He was like, but he's not funny. They had to add a nice guy because, like, anyway, we're talking about dinosaurs, not Pokemon for the time of the show. I can't.
So speaking of nice guys, Robbie is talking to Spike, like he's kind of like bragging to Spike, like, yeah, you know, me and Caroline, we've been together, and Spike's just like, yeah, but you guys haven't even kissed.
Yeah,
that was the weird thing, is he was talking like they've been together, but then later she was like not even treating him like a second thought in the world. I felt like that was misinformation on the part of the plot to be like they're together. But then I realized, like, oh, Robbie as a skinny geek would maybe lie about being with someone to impress Spike, but expositionally it was a little confusing.
Yeah, it seems like they forgot midway through the episode that they were together already in some form. Just Robbie wasn't sealing the deal or whatever. I don't know. How old is Robbie? 16?
Yeah, I believe he has aged a little bit, but like they didn't really explain it. Like I think they say he's 16
at some point. He started out 14 in the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
but he hasn't gotten his spikes yet.
So to like prove that like he is dating her to Spike, he's like, they figure out he should just ask her to the meteor shower dance, which is great, by the way. And Robbie agrees, and he goes up to go talk to her.
Well, Spike pushes him.
And yeah,
he was not going to do that shit.
Yeah. No. And
he was gonna go home later and message her on AIM like, sorry, I'm so shy. Ha ha ha. I saw you today. You looked real cute. Like because I've done that. I know what he would have done.
Post a MySpace bulletin.
Yes.
Yeah, and then while he's doing it, he does have a copy of Evolution Do's and Don'ts.
I noticed that too. Funny. That's a great little prop. Do's and don'ts. Like, what do you just don't evolve bad? Like, I want to know what's in there.
Yeah, you don't want to become an amphibian, which those are the worst. Yeah. Those are the worst people in this universe.
Either you dar win or you dar lose. Those are the two options you have with evolution.
Oh shit!
Really?
Ben, I'm referencing the other episode
that we haven't done yet.
Yeah, god damn it.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's a little preview for the real things.
Yeah.
If you see yourself, Tim, like this, you die. That's how time travel works. So you got to be careful with that.
Oh no!
No, you can see yourselves. They did it fine in Harry Potter.
No, they weren't allowed to see themselves. They could see themselves, but they weren't allowed to see themselves back. The other way. Yeah. That was the whole plot line. I hate that plot line. I hate time turners. I like Timmy Turner. Don't like time turners. That's where I stand.
I hate time loops. I hate time loops so much.
I love Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Well, then we got a show for you.
The podcast, The Three I'm In, their first season is about movies that take from Groundhog Day's plot, like time loop movies.
Palm Beach was a really good one.
I watched that because of it.
Second one.
Oh, it's so good.
There's some Christmas ones that aren't as sound logically, but I'll still watch them.
They included in the podcast. They included 50 First Dates as like a weird version of a time loop movie.
I'll take it. And the Notebook is a bit like that as well.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think they thought of the Notebook.
I think Palm Springs was the only one I liked from the whole season they did about time loop movies.
Palm Springs is great.
Happy Death Day was fun, but I don't like horror movies that much. They're too scary, and they're also usually just really bad at the same time. So there's nothing of value.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it, at least.
So Robbie goes up. And Caroline, he's about to ask her, and she's like, she doesn't really. Well, never mind.
She's listening to him, but she gets horny for Dolph. Like, embarrassingly horny when Dolph walks by, and he's like not that cute to me. But she's like talking about him like when I see like, a Bushi or Lance Archer or like one of these like paragons of men. And I'm like, he's a little slumpy, girl. Like, you could, but whatever. Like, and then she begs Robbie not to tell anyone, which I'm like, this is where I'm like, that's not her boyfriend. I mean, maybe I talk like that to Marty, but like, we've known each other for a long time. And a lot of the basis of our relationship is like, what wrestlers look good to you and why.
Yeah.
But she's just like, oh my God, what a guy. Oh, he looks so tasty. Oh, don't tell anyone I said that. Promise you won't. You're such a good friend, which I've done that to people. I get it. Like, she was wiser than he thought.
She's definitely presuming a lot.
And she's just like, he's like some magnificent living sculpture. And Robbie's just like,
magnificent living sculpture. Yeah. That's a Bushi. That's Tanahashi. That's, That's Darby Allin. He's a magnificent living sculpture.
I like Robbie does comment that. Robbie says like, yeah, he's okay, but which I think is interesting. I do like that Robbie does like kind of like he's exploring.
He's all right.
He might have a cuck side. You never know. That might be his thing.
Yeah.
He's too young to know that yet. He'll find out.
I also like how he's like very clueless where like moments ago he's bragging that that's his girlfriend and then he's like just dealing with her, fangirling out about a fellow student, which, you know what? There was a pole vaulter that was a senior when I was a freshman and I kind of felt that way around. So I get it.
Yeah,
Magnificent living sculptures.
And so then like Sarah was saying, she tells Robbie, she like begs him like not to like tell anybody, and he's like, yeah, sure. And then she just kind of goes away, and he comes back to Spike, and Spike's like, well, and he's like, Robbie's like, we laughed, we talked, we checked out guys.
That sounds like a good time. Like, I don't know what the issue is. Like, that's what I do with my girlfriend. I don't.
Yeah.
Like well, a partner more specifically, but still, it's just I don't know.
It feels
It
good,
sounds pretty good.
It feels good to check out people together. Like, everybody looks good. Let's appreciate them. Why do we have to put labels on everything?
Yeah, it's better than like talking shit about everybody who walks by. It's definitely that positive affirmation that Sarah's selling to the podcast. It's very very good positive interactions with the world.
But obviously Robbie feels like he was friend zoned, so he's in the friend zone.
I'm gonna bring up that the term friend zone was not canon for Dinosaurs. You introduced that to this serious realm.
I don't think it existed yet as a term. Yeah,
this is like an era that was after the dinosaurs went in the liberated darkness.
It was like a substitute for like, you're a good friend, when it like kept repeating in his head like over and over again.
Friend.
I was gonna do like a bit about like how Friendzone like was started by the show Friends, but it was. I just googled the origin of the Friendzone term, popularized in 1994 episode of American sitcom Friends, titled "The One with the Blackout."
That's a great bit that you invented.
A year.
I know.
That's time travel.
A year after this episode.
I gotta say, the episode was titled "The One with the Blackout," and I do not remember any black people in the show Friends, so I do not believe this. Like, because it sounds like bullshit to me. Because that show is very whitewashed for New York. Everyone has so much money
anywhere,
in these shows.
really.
Yeah, there's so much money in these TV shows.
Norway ass Friends.
Yeah, if they could sell me on if it was in Norway, I'd be like, all right, maybe. Still wouldn't watch
I'll be there for you.
Yeah, is that Norway?
Thank you.
Is that Norwegian
accent?
Thank
you.
Awesome. I was expecting like death metal.
Norway enough.
Norway enough.
Norway.
It's your favorite Limp Bizkits on Norway or the Highway?
Norway or the Highway, yes. That's right.
But
Walter.
Yeah, Friendzone is I think this episode should have coined it, but they missed their chance. Because this is they're definitely getting into that whole like one of the girls thing, as he refers to himself.
Yeah, which he doesn't like. He clearly is not happy about that.
I was fine with it in high school.
Yeah, it's
fine enough. I did drop out of high school, but it was not because I was friend zoned the whole time. I liked friends. It's weird. I liked having friends. It's a weird thing. I don't see it as such a negative.
Yeah, and we get Sarah, since we got into like season 3 of the show, the cold opens have been so long that they have like multiple scenes.
I thought about it. I was like, the title sequence came up and I was like, are you kidding? I feel like I've been watching the show for 10 minutes and like I'm into it, but like that was not like a like it was that was a 3-page cold open. I know it.
Yeah, they're just doing scenes rather than cold opens. It's like a whole.
But you know what? Mr. Bilson was like, "This is a story episode, and we will segment it as such. And if there's no joke for you surface level viewers of Dinosaurs, then guess what? You're gonna have a lot more to chow down on because it's a heavy episode with big implications."
Comedy is the lowest form of entertainment, so obviously, he was not selling comedy in this sitcom. This sitcom.
Sitcom.
Yeah, just straight sitcom. But
so
we're in the second scene so far before even we get to the theme song, and they're in the Sinclair kitchen, and Charlene's teasing Robbie for being stuck on the same page of homework for an hour, but he's like clearly he's distracted thinking about his friend zone situation and wondering when Friends is going to become his favorite TV show. I can't believe these shows intersected. They were on at the same time. That seems so weird to me.
Yeah,
and we've never talked about it.
No, and there's no Dinosaurs Lego set, but there is a Friends Lego set.
Friends Lego set.
Very tragic.
There is a Harry Potter Lego set up here on Zach's shelf, and I'm very jealous of it because those things are like $300.
I bought Issa the chessboard, the chessboard
Wizard chess
Lego set.
It's a Lego set chess. Can you still play chess on it afterwards?
Yeah, you make the little pieces, and it comes with the little pieces. You can play chess with it. Yes, it's a practical Lego set.
Very practical.
And
I like it.
Yes, yeah. So,
but no dinosaurs.
So Robbie tries to use Charlene as like a sounding board. Like he's like, can we just talk?
You're the other woman I know that's not my mom.
Yeah, but he has to bribe her. Of course.
$5. That made me feel good because I feel like my brother was always talking me out of money as a kid, and to see the sister get some money, I was like, "You go, girl." Mm-hmm. Lisa Simpson, get it. She's mean though. What did he say? Don't brains matter? And she's like, yeah, if you're pushing 30 looking for a tech guy to support your lifestyle. I was like, pushing girl, 30? That's too real. You're outing a bunch of us.
Yeah. Well, she takes it as like a fashion magazine quiz.
Yes, that was very cute. And very of the time, because we really cared about those quizzes in this era. The 90s were a big time for magazine quizzes to shine.
Yeah, because she's like, well, he's got to have dimples. He's got to look like the star of one of those teenage zip code shows.
Okay, John Moxley, understood.
Yeah. Deke. She says Deke and Zach, like people with the name Deke. Who's named Deke?
Actually predicting Zach and Cody.
Zach and Cody.
The Deke life of Zach and Cody.
Who the hell is Deke?
Deke was
that's like a wrestler name
that did a bunch of cartoons. Deke. But then Marty and his friends, when it would come up, would always say Dick really loud. That was my favorite.
Oh, yeah, DIC, right?
Yeah, Dick.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Gen X guys really love that kind of humor. Mm-hmm. And you know what? So do I.
It's highbrow. I think so, at least.
But so Robbie, while she's explaining all this thing, Robbie's just like, well, don't girls like guys with integrity? Like,
no, we don't. Sorry, no.
And Robbie's just a skinny geek with a big brain.
He looks fine.
Yeah, like I don't know. He's like he's a dinosaur. Like he's already ripped. I don't know what else he could be.
That's how animals think about us. Like, we think about ourselves so harshly, and animals are like, you're fine. You're wearing clothes. Good job.
Thumbs. Your thumbs.
You're a warm body. I'll cuddle you in the night.
Warm body.
Oh, and drool on you. But Charlene just starts making fun of Robbie, calls him Chicken Boy, which, speaking of evolution, she's not wrong.
Yeah, that's like a view of evolution.
Yep.
He did turn into a chicken. So
and the baby must pick it up from her, because the baby calls him Chicken Boy the whole episode.
Oh yeah, because
I always felt a soul connection to the baby, even when I wasn't allowed to watch the show.
That's why you weren't allowed.
I got one of those straws that you could pump up for an activity with. And I had the baby. It was so precious to me. I kept it very secret because I was like, I don't watch the show, but I know me and that baby are the same. I just know it.
He loves when he hears something that he thinks is funny. He'll just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. That's him.
I feel that.
That's him.
He's very into catchphrases.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they run into the living room.
For the next white whale.
He chases her into the living room, and Fran, which is also reading another clever, I think it's Our Tales and Ourselves, I believe is what she's reading.
Interesting.
You know how the health of the tail represents the health of the rest of the being.
It's especially weird because in this episode, the tail, I mean, not in this episode, but in the Dinosaurs universe, like tails are supposed to represent like breasts or the period. It's very weird and a really mixed
I think only
metaphor.
Issa thought it was period. I think that you're just bringing Issa into that. I don't think that didn't make sense.
Well, that's, you know what though, but we need to respect when a woman says something that's a different perspective that represents something that's very personal to women. Ben.
That's true. That's true.
I have
That's
so
right.
much fun just really wielding my womanhood lately. And so I've never had it before.
But Tim gets arrested whenever he wields his manhood in public. So I don't know what dichotomy there.
He wields it like a swan.
I have never.
You men visiting each other's tribes. Oh, what a journey for our swords.
I've never been arrested. Just saying.
Sure.
It's not true.
I forgot that I agreed to say that. There was a notary present. Tim was never arrested. I had a dream. His manhood was there.
I had a dream that made an arrest record so real that for several years you could Google it, but you can no longer Google it, so it must not have happened.
Like, it was one of those dreams where I was at school and I wasn't wearing pants, but Tim was there too, so luckily he also wasn't wearing pants, so it was camaraderie.
So why didn't you get arrested?
When you dream about someone, they're also dreaming about you, maybe in a different time and space, but like, do you think that that's a possibility?
Yes, and it might not look the same, like, because everybody's perspectives are different.
It's metaphoric.
Exactly.
Ben, you're so wise.
It's the Matrix, right?
Is
yeah.
it? No.
Dude, my dad showed us the Matrix when I was a freshman in high school to be like an example of like what it's like to wake after you find Jesus, and I just felt like that wasn't the point the movie wanted to make.
That's amazing. That's the first take I've heard of that. The Wachowski sisters.
It was a bold take. I really do think about that, and how I don't think that was the point of the film.
It's in the eye of the beholder, I think. I think your dad, for him, it is very important that that's the take on the film.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to really enjoy the movie and then enjoy it with us, and that was the filter. And I go, great, I love that movie. Let's watch it. The talk back afterward, couple notes.
I love just spinning any movie. Just be like, your dad's just like, I really like this American Pie movie. How can I make it seem Christian enough? You see, Stifler's mom was the biblical Rachel.
God knows everything that you do, but will sometimes do you the honor of asking questions about what you're doing.
Exactly.
The pie represents his shame, and
apple, pie, Eve, women, trouble.
Yeah, the forbidden fruit. That's all adds up.
Yeah,
makes sense.
So
where were we?
Yeah, Fran wants to know why, like, Charlene is making fun of him. And Charlene's just like, well, girls don't like wimpy eggheads. And
it's not true.
Earl, yeah, that's true.
I love a wimpy egghead.
I mean, I'm getting married, so
I think Professor Farnsworth is the sexiest character on Futurama.
Good news, everybody.
Good news, everyone. Well, there's that one. There's that one joke where he's like, "How's his wife doing?" To shreds, you say. Well, how's he doing? To shreds, you say. It's like my favorite joke in that whole show.
This is a good a callback to the last time you were on, because I believe you were just starting to watch Futurama last time you were on the episode.
I mean, it's always a rewatch at this point, but I was just introducing Marty to it.
Oh, that's
the thing
what
about
it was.
Marty
was
is that you can't trick him into watching an entire series episode by episode. Yeah. Like, you got to give him like 3 or 4 episodes, and he'll be like really into it, and then a couple months later be like, oh, let's watch Futurama again, and then he'll be like into it again. But he's always got to be stirring the pool with like new documentaries, new TV shows. Like, I'm much more of a like, and then I'll watch every episode of Cheers in a row at dinner time. Good.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just rewatch King of the Hill every couple years, and that's my comfort show. Or Home Movies is the other one.
Oh, I love home movies. Good.
That's my favorite of all time, I think.
Oh, it's one of my top. That and Dr. Katz were like big high school, early college comfort shows.
Mm-hmm.
Squiggle vision all day.
I get so happy in home movies when Dr. Katz what's his first name? I don't remember. He would play like, I think it was Melissa's dad in home movies. So when he was like showing apartments to McGurk, it was like watching Dr. Katz again as they're going around doing their improv bits. And you can feel them just like having so much fun together. Like, there are certain pairings that are just like, oh yeah, it's Brett and Sean. Yeah, it's just great. That's the handshake.
McGurk screwed McGurk. And
probably did.
So my favorite bit from home movies is when Brandon goes to the beach and he steps on McGurk and he's like Coach McGurk, what are you doing here? And Coach McGurk's like, what are you doing in my house? And I thought that was the funniest thing ever. Anyway, so yeah. So Fran, Earl takes Charlene's side, starts making fun of Robbie.
Earl sucks. Robbie goes, my life stinks. And Earl goes, yeah, get over it. And I'm like, fair point, but also like, you're his dad. So you do have like a slight more stake in your son's happiness than the average dunker on the street.
Yeah, like lie to him at least. Make him think things will get better.
Or take it personally. Yeah. My life stinks. It's like, I have a house for you. We have a fridge stocked full of pre-made sandwiches and ribs.
I feel like that's going to create a different emotional problem for him if his dad was like that every time too, though.
Yeah,
you know what?
That's true.
It must be hard to be a parent.
Yes, probably.
That's the takeaway.
They just don't understand.
They want to.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe nowadays.
Earl even like he makes that comment where Fran's talking about like plenty of girls like, you know, like smart guys or whatever, and Earl's just like, oh, you mean ugly girls, right? Like,
yeah, he throws that in, and I was like, you know what? That's a fun group to go after. Just vaguely ugly girls. Girls.
Yeah, I don't know what Earl's take on himself is, where he just feels like putting down other people's appearances. It seems pretty like off base to me.
Dude, any adjective and then like a large group of people is like funny to go after, to be like, oh yeah, we're going after flaccid ducks. And you're like, what? We're going after smarmy businessmen. Perfect, you know?
Yes.
We're going after pretty wives.
Pretty wives. The real pretty wives of Atlanta.
That's a good show. Watch it.
Sloppy steaks.
Sloppy steaks, baby.
Yeah. And Robbie I can't keep coming back. Okay.
What?
So Robbie thinks that the only way, like he confides to Fran that he needs to get buff. He needs to become a grotesque wall of meat, as he puts it.
Yes.
To get with
That's
Caroline.
what we want to see on our TVs.
Yeah.
That's what I put in my journal.
That's how we get the female demographic watching wrestling.
Yes.
Grotesque walls of meat. Walls of Jericho?
Chop them.
But when Robbie leaves and complains about his life, Fran is just like, come on, Earl, like you gotta be better than that. And Earl's like, why? It's like, why do I have to be like that? And she's like, well, that will, if you don't go talk to him, that will be the last time I ever make food for you.
Yeah, and he's helpless without that, as we've learned.
Yeah, I think she knows that that's a go-to.
Mm-hmm.
She knows that'll get him to shape up.
Yeah, he's food
This
motivated.
kind of bargaining happens a lot in this family.
Mm-hmm.
Threats, empty threats.
But we cut to Earl pontificating in Robbie's bedroom. Like, tell him, like, see, son, regardless of species, there is one universal truth that governs the intimate relationships amongst all living creatures. Chicks dig big guys. You know what? If I just did that a little different, it would have definitely sounded like a McGurk line talking to, you know, Brendan?
Exactly.
Chicks dig big guys.
Chicks dig big guys, Brendan. And you're Brendan Small. It's a problem.
Yeah. Did your mom ask about me? No? Okay.
So then we get this great bit where Earl has his high school yearbook and he shows him the photo.
Yeah, the wimpy photo of him.
I know exactly what you're gonna say. Point it out.
He's the bean. They like give his nicknames and stuff like that, like Beanpole and Pencil Neck.
Voted most likely to slip through a sewer grate. What a great superlative. Like, why is that included?
So beautiful.
And that photo of him is
the photo of
so
him.
Weird.
He's wearing a plaid Speedo that matches his plaid flannel that he always wears.
Yes. when he
like, oh, that's your pattern, and it's always been
matter what.
so. And who made that for you? Out of one of your shirts, you probably busted the pits through, like probably his mom.
the episode when he gets a lot of money because Fran has a good job, he just has like a full flannel like tuxedo and like handkerchief.
That's
and, like,
his signature pattern, and you can't take it away from him.
Yeah, he's into he's into pop punk. He's like one of those bearded pop punk guys.
He loves hot water music.
Yeah, exactly.
Ska too.
So yeah. Oh yes, ska all day.
Ska all day.
So Earl basically from here, Earl tells Robbie that he'll help him get to work out, and so he can be big and strong like his father.
Yeah, giant hunk of lard.
A giant hook of lard, and Earl says it will work because like you have the drive. He's like you have the determination and absolutely no social life to your exercise time.
The thing is here, like
such a dig.
He also shows in the photo of him looking like the Dino Schwarzenegger, like after that though too. That's the motivation. Because besides that, like Robbie has no reason to want to like follow that because he went from skinny to looking like he does now at 42, and never having.
But at one point, Earl says that it'll take him like 4 or 5 years. I think.
Yeah, but he did it in high school somehow.
Montage. Yeah, and I was like suspicious of that.
Yeah, he also had superlatives as a sophomore.
Trilobites.
Yeah, I think he had those thornoids going on.
Yeah,
definitely.
But we do get our Rocky montage after this.
Yeah, we get a little.
It's a lackluster montage for me. I wish they would have done more. I think the music was a little too intense, but the action was a little lackluster.
Yeah, not too much happened. I felt like.
It's like they could only shoot in that set of Robbie's room,
but
and that was it.
Do like a down underneath, like I felt like there's light variations. Like there's more that could have made it feel like a montage to me. It just felt like more scenes of like them hanging out.
Did he eat any raw eggs?
No, I don't think so.
Then it's not a montage.
They didn't want us to be doing that in the 90s. We were starting to do what we saw on TV, and they were like, you know what, let's leave that one out.
Yeah, my dad did that because he saw it on TV, and he threw him up immediately.
Didn't Gaston do that?
My friend told me that her first sexual awakening was when she watched Gaston guzzle all those eggs, and I understood that.
Amazing.
It wasn't mine, but I understood it.
So he does it, but he does. So whoever was in that suit did manage to do some push-ups, which was pretty impressive. I gotta say,
they were probably weighing a lot of that montage on the push-ups.
If I saw anyone normal do push-ups, I think it's impressive. So that definitely is doubly impressive.
Normal. Robbie's not normal, but human beings are so ethnocentric.
Yeah, I'm not normal. So sorry, that was very problematic. I'm gonna self-quit.
Listen, Robbie would have you canceled, but I think the Earth canceled him into the La Brea tar pits.
I'm going to be Twitter's villain of the day. I'm going to go on there and be like, I'm sorry for how I made you feel with my comments. I'm going to seek therapy.
I'm sorry if my comments made you feel a way that you shouldn't have.
Exactly.
That's my favorite apology, where it's like, that doesn't count.
That's every.
Sorry if by some weird way you took the thing that I did as not perfect.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you noticed.
Sorry.
I'm not
allegations of me saying things that might have hurt your feelings.
I'm sorry that you saw through the lies.
Yeah, that would be. I would love for someone who's like, "I'm sorry you caught me. I'm bad, and I was bad again, and you caught me, and I'm kind of sorry, but I'll probably keep doing it. I'd like to see that apology.
that'd be a lot better than what I've seen.
You got me. I suck. Anyway, sorry this time.
And so we get the montage. They go on for like what? It's like 14 weeks or something like that.
Is it really?
Isn't it?
How the fuck isn't the dance coming up?
The dance is coming up. It can't be 14 weeks.
Was it 14 days?
I think it was 1 week. I think it was
1 week since you pumped that iron.
But he has a tendency of losing his shirt as well, or getting spikes through them at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he, Robbie, they get to the end and they have a little meter that Earl has to fill in with a marker, and he fills it in. And he's like, you gained a quarter inch. And Robbie's like, a quarter inch from what? He's like, well, I rounded up from nothing.
And also he was nice enough to make a thermometer diagram for what his arm actually was when he first measured it. And then it was still like part way filled in, but not all the way filled in.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was a nice way to just do a lot of effort for a small bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
They made up for the lack of full montage by doing that.
So Earl suggests that, you know, like based on Robbie's frustration, he's like, well, you know, it takes a lot of work. Like it's going to take 4 to 5 years. And Robbie,
which is also again, did he start freshman year, graduate like maybe because he's a sophomore, 4 or 5? I don't know, but it's also like I find it hard to believe that Earl himself did 4 to 5 years of uninterrupted like physical labor, and then we only hear about it in this episode that he was that hot.
Yeah.
Well, he was also like a professional dancer, so
or he wanted to be. I think that was an alternate timeline.
Oh,
situation.
So he's Barbie.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, he has the Barbie experience. Somebody says he has a sports car.
Fran is Ken.
Mm-hmm.
Earl and Fran. Jim and Pam. It's all coming together. I gotta get my
Jim and Pam.
This is also a show that's based on The Office, just like Romeo and Juliet was.
Yes.
It's all comes back to The Office.
So Robbie, oh hi Bella. Robbie's just like, I quit. Is like by the time I get buff, Caroline and Dolph will be married in a house full of bodybuilders.
Yeah, big buff babies. Big buff boys.
Buff babies, yeah.
Buff young boys.
She's gonna get married right out of high school and just and a house full of them. So she's gonna be pumping him out during high school while he's trying to get in shape. That's the implication.
Yeah. Yeah. But Earl tries. Well, oh fuck! This is when he's at school. I was thinking it was Earl. That's Spike
Earl?
he's talking to.
Is Spike talking to?
Spike has my favorite quote where who do they see eating those little steroid guys?
Dolph is eating him, correct?
Yeah, Dolph.
Yeah,
So he
that's how
steals them
Dolph got
from
so
Dolph.
big.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dolph must have just gotten more because Dolph never complains during this episode that he's missing his little guys.
Yeah, he probably has a good plug. Like he's not worried about it.
But before we get to that, Spike has a great quote where he's explaining what these guys are, and he goes, "You don't get them, you don't want them, you don't need them," and I just love that. It feels like Walk Hard.
Yeah, you don't want any of this, Dewey. Which is what I wrote in my notes.
It'll fix every problem that you ever have.
It'll take
you
all your
don't
bad
want them, you don't
feelings,
want
turn
none
them
of
into
this.
good ones.
Ben wrote, yeah, Sarah. So me and Ben have these notes here, and Ben wrote that word for word, like that. Your point.
You don't want them. You don't need them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Spike is telling Robbie about the Thornoids, and
Reluctantly.
Robbie, yeah, and Robbie's desperate. So after Spike leaves and warns him clearly, like Dewey Cox,
he warned him, but he told him that he was fine the way he is, and his puniness is made up for in his other good qualities. Like he's really good in this episode.
Yeah.
So don't gloss over that, Tim. This is a Spike redemption arc.
Yep.
Yeah, Spike is being nice for once.
Yeah.
Dude, Spike is like the best friend in this episode. Again, that's why I called him Eddie Kingadon. Reference to Eddie Kingston. I feel like he gives this advice probably regularly in the locker rooms.
Yeah.
Spike's a locker room leader.
That's right.
It's really good to see him grow into himself here. Like this is a good Spike episode.
This is the episode where his red pill men's group didn't meet. He's actually kind of waking up a little bit. But he'll go back to sleep soon, don't worry.
Woke Spike.
I'm wondering what was going on in like the voice actor. It was Christopher Milani plays Spike from
so good. He's really good in this.
Yes, it's perfect. I'm like, maybe he just started adding a bit of himself to the character. He's like, I don't like this character to be like this complete just well they didn't have the word incel yet. That was another Friends episode, I'm sure.
Friends episode. The one with the red pill.
Exactly. Yeah. So Spike leaves him, and then we see Dolph leaves whatever classroom he's in. He walks over. So this is the sexual Harris suit, but I feel like they like beefed it up. Like I can't tell. Do you think it looks different, Ben? I think it
does look a little different because I had to compare it to the actual episode with sexual Harris in it, which was the Jason Alexander voiced character who was invented sexual harassment. But they reuse him for a lot of costumes, but this one they definitely added some beef to him.
Yeah. So he comes in, he punches his locker, it like opens up, he opens a box, like a cigar box, and you see these little, like, they look like I can't think of it, like
Langoliers?
What, like critters, like that movie Critters. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like those little they got like the little arms, but these ones don't have arms, but they have like the mouth, and they're just insulting. They're just like insulting you the whole time.
They're amazing that they want to be eaten. I'm wondering what the hell like setup this is, where they're like, come on, eat me, I'm getting tired of waiting. And they're like, you're gonna kill us in here, your locker's so stinky. Like, they want to die, but they want to die being eaten by like puny guys that they can insult. Like, this is one where I was like, I got to think about the implications on this world of dinosaurs, that these exist and they neg you into eating them, but they're bad for you, but they cause spikes, but they're angry. They're like how you'll behave, but they're also their own personas. Like, what? We need to have a whole mini series on this.
We need a Dare commercial that just turns like meth rocks into these guys.
Dude, I feel like those guys would ironically wear Dare t-shirts. Like that's who they are.
100%.
And they want you to eat me, little idiot. You won't. It's like, you can't talk to me like that. I'm illegally using you. Like, it's a lot.
Dolph, I love Dolph. He's like, doo. He's just like, you're funny. He just
Dolph is just like, ha ha, you're such a guy like you want. It's
so
like
decent.
symbiotic relationship, I guess. To me, to Dolph, those little steroid guys are like the bird that stands on top of the hippopotamus and they like get along for some reason. But for Robbie, I feel like they legitimately want to bully him. Like, they know the deal with Dolph, they're gonna get eaten. But Robbie's like, oh, you suck. Oh, but eat us anyway. No matter.
Yeah. So then Robbie runs to the locker after Dolph leaves, and he punches it. He keeps trying to punch it, and then it goes to nighttime with a crowbar.
Yeah. Oh, he's
so do you
chicken
think?
Boy.
Do you think he was there all night, or did he have to come back in the middle of the night?
He went to get his crowbar. Yeah, he went home
You know,
for a bit.
I think he knew where the crowbar was because he's Coach's pet, and he can get into Coach's office, and he can use all of Coach's tools. That's what I think. And he's smart. He has a big brain. They said that multiple times.
Yeah.
They really drilled it into us that girls don't like big brains. But you know what? Can it be both?
I mean, he has a crowbar now. He doesn't need muscles. He can do pretty much anything a big guy can do now. He's got leverage.
My favorite TV show.
Leverage. It's something with a crowbar. I don't know. And so Robbie opens up the box. There's insulting him, and
they're like, hurry up and eat us. And also, like, the weird thing is that none of them are begging more specifically than the others. They're just kind of like, oh, it's gonna be me. Like, sure. They're like rooting for each other to be eaten, but also negging him. Like, I'm telling you, they blew my mind. I couldn't believe you could write. This is like very Star Trek to me.
They're like the little alien toys from Toy Story, the claw machine.
Yes.
It has that kind of
hive
relationship.
mind.
Yeah, and I do like the one that quotes like the old '80s Lay's commercials. Like, I bet you can't eat just one. When he takes one of them.
You
I was invented by Friends.
That was another Friends episode. The one where once you pop, you can't stop.
The one where they pop and they can't stop. That was probably my favorite episode of Friends. Joey can't stop popping.
My favorite episode is the one where I was actually watching How I Met Your Mother, but I was on acid, so I thought it was Friends. That's a really good one.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so and apparently, and we'll get to it in this next scene, because we get to Baby and Fran, and this is the first appearance by Baby in the whole episode, by the way, which is
and it's
pretty
the
rare.
midpoint of the episode.
Oh, they probably
I
didn't know
always
that.
pause stuff to find, like, when we're about 10-15 minutes in, when we're at the halfway point, when we're 3/4 of the way. Like, I like to kind of know structurally where we're at, and it's the midpoint is Baby not wanting to eat peas, and then seeing that Robbie's freaking hot now and being like, I'd like some peas, actually. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah,
because the baby is endorsing Robbie's actions, and the baby should be taught better. And so, like, story-wise, that's where I felt like this episode really has an arc and really has me.
I mean, it was a big thing we talked about, like, with the writer Tim Doyle's, like, waiting this long to have the baby in the episode was probably, like, killing Disney, like, when they were reading it.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, that's the money.
They were so mad. They were so mad.
But, like, sometimes you have to structure in a way that makes sense. Like, but they would often just throw the baby in, like, the cold open for no reason. Like, that, they just had to find a way.
Is, like, the best worker. The baby is Cesaro, if we're doing wrestling.
he's the opening match.
I love him. Just the all-around Swiss Army knife of wrestling is comedy is the baby from Dinosaurs.
When is someone's wrestling catchphrase gonna be "Gotta love me"? I feel like that's gonna.
I got a "Gotta love me" chant started when somebody brought a baby dinosaur to a freelance pro wrestling show about 4 years ago, and I'm obviously still talking about it. Gotta love me,
because at All Out. Kenny Omega kept saying, "Did I do that?"
That was bananas. Kenny just needs to have somebody at the filter, because he says things sometimes that are just batshit. But you know what? Maybe we don't need a filter. He did, because he's got an alien and he gets brainworms more susceptibly than human beings, and then he just is the baby and has to repeat things that he heard that made him laugh.
So I'm waiting for wrestling superstar Kenny Omega to say, "Gotta love me, gotta love me,
gotta love me."
And so baby doesn't want to eat his peas. He throws the spoon across the room behind the fridge, asking
if he wants to see him paint with it.
Yeah, baby's like real cutting in this.
Baby is like very pithy, I would say, but baby's always that way.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, nobody puts baby,
like,
you know. What?
Yeah. And Fran's like, "Well, don't you want to grow up to being strong like your father?"
She eyes Earl before. I don't think she even finishes it. She's like, "Or like your brother, Robbie, the chicken boy."
Yeah. Well, yeah. Baby's like, "You mean chicken boy?"
That baby is so like righteously rude. Like, I think why I like the baby is that I understood that the baby was a truth teller in a world of confusion and lies, even when that truth didn't want to be heard.
He's a tool of karma throughout the show. Like, his Earl gets his comeuppance through the baby a lot of times.
Did you know that Marty used to think it was come-uppins? Like, come and get your uppins from me?
Get your uppins.
Yeah, and it's like uppins was like a scooped-out karmic mush.
Amazing. You know,
come and like get your uppins.
Like, I thought it was up and Adam. Like, the name Adam when I was a kid. That was my older brother's name. I assumed I had to be like him. Get up and Adam.
Up and Adam. That's really cute. I mean, it could also be biblical, you know?
Yeah, of course.
It's come up and Adam, not come up and Eve. Calm down and Eve.
That's a version where they're saying that women don't exist. Where it's just Adam, not Eve.
It's just Adam.
You remember when
not
Adam
Eve. I don't know where you guys are getting that there is a woman character.
There was none. He removed his rib cage so he could suck his own dick like Marilyn Manson in the 90s. There was no Eve.
There's no Eve. And you know what? The Earth was flat, and we liked it that way.
Yeah.
Mike, can we get an opinion on this?
Yeah, now it's voluptuous. The Earth. Now that there's an Eve, it's not. It's not the same.
No.
Sarah missed the flat Earth episode. We had that episode in the show.
I was gonna say I felt like we had a few, but there was one very specifically about the Earth being round.
Yeah. So yeah.
Were they on the right side of history?
Charlene was.
It depends on if you take
as usual.
Tim's view or mine.
Lisa
I don't
Simpson,
see
always right.
I don't see the curvature. That's all I'm saying. I walk outside, don't see it.
I see it. I see it. If you get a good circle of sky around like a big field, that's where I see the curvature. But then I go, if I walk over there, it moves. I think we're more like a bubble wrap.
Yeah, we're like there's a dome. There's a dome. There's ice walls on the side.
That's why Truman ran into him in that truthful documentary, The Truman Show.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether to go Ed TV or Truman with it, but I knew it was one of the two.
So
it's a lot of options.
So yeah. So after baby's saying chicken boy, Robbie shows up. So overnight, Robbie has eaten one of these things and he's fucking jacked. So like,
this is an endorsement in my opinion. Like if I knew it worked that quickly, then yeah, I'd do the steroids. Like,
but it makes him such a prick. Like immediately,
I'm already not great.
He sucks. Like you don't suck the way that Robbie sucks post steroid. I'm gonna do a bit where I never get those names right the whole episode.
It's a good bit.
And he like is just like shoving people out of the way, and he's being like rude and destructive and like just complete not Robbie. Like Robbie was a little grabby with the idea of wanting to be hot, but like he sucks on steroids. He's like the opposite of cool Steve Urkel.
Yeah. He's I like his shirt though. He has a really cute like green and white horizontal shirt.
Dude, that's one thing I need to bring you from Marty. And so Marty was like, the thing that impressed me the most, that I remember the most about this episode, is thinking Robbie looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like
he's got like fucking
so
forearms.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and he looks like he looks like WWE debuting suit, the dinosaur, and you're like, ooh, he's coming? Like, oh yeah. Who's he gonna wrestle first?
Luchador.
And the spikes, are they hurt or are they rubbery? Can you pass your hand over one undisturbed, perhaps? I gotta know.
The Road Warriors with the spikes.
Warriors.
So he's jacked to the gills.
Yeah, he's in there to
pull
his
up,
family.
He pulls out the refrigerator, like he just lifts it, like,
and also nothing. He does it in a way to be like he's being a jackass. Like he knows he can pick it up, but he's also like flexing on his dad.
It's like when you're at a church camp.
I needed to
grab
work
all the
out.
folding chairs at once.
Yes, big time church camp folding chair energy.
10 under each arm, and you just walk like dying, but yeah, everyone's seeing it.
I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a truth about that. I always pitied the boys that would carry too many chairs because I felt like they were proving more than they felt they needed to prove more than they actually like. Just take 2 chairs. I see you're helping.
I'd be more impressed by multiple trips.
I'm turned on by that.
Yeah, I guess the helping itself. I think multiple trips is more impressive. I carry a lot of stuff at once because I don't want to go.
That's a tortoise and the hare thing.
Exactly. That's what it was.
Multiple trips for sharing your dips.
That's right.
That was the moral of that story, and it rhymed.
Yes.
But so they're all kind of like taken aback, and Earl's like proud, like he's just like, wow, like he stuck to the routine. And so when he leaves, Fran's just like, wait, Robbie forgot to put the refrigerator back, and Earl's
that causes a problem for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, that becomes Earl's whole focus now.
So their refrigerator is unplugged for like days. It's just like
just unplugged, and remember that for later in the episode.
That's
true, right?
Is this the scene where
they eat mold
Earl says something about like keep on working out? Do you remember? Or is that later?
As far as my notes go, he doesn't say anything, so I don't know.
Basically, Earl goes, because I wrote this down. He's like, hey, keep on sticking to that workout routine. And Robbie, behind his like mean steroid persona, does like this weebly little laugh, being kind of like, like it's really good acting because he has to pretend to be like a steroid jackass, but he's also like knows that he's being bad and agreeing with his dad all at once. And I felt like that laugh deserved a freaking Emmy.
Yeah, he sold it.
He also the pitch in his voice has changed too. Like he speaks like
he's
with a
way
really
low.
Deep tone.
Yeah. Marty does a tall guy voice, and he sometimes does this character named Marcus, who dated me after Marty fell off the roof from doing a bit, and it's always like, oh yeah, what's that little guy's name again? Marty, that's right. He always gets the cat's names wrong. It's like he's living with me for some reason, but we just don't have any chemistry.
But he's tall.
All that and more. Come visit our apartment. You'll see our range of bits. There's like, I don't know, 8,400 at this point.
Yeah. So Robbie goes to school. He's looking for Caroline. He's like, where's she at?
Bring her over here. He's being such a dick. Like, I feel like the principal should have been like, hey man, you gotta calm it down.
Yeah, fucking ease up, buddy.
Yeah, and even like his like classmates and stuff, like the needle nose guy is just like, whoa, like who's this?
What
guy?
a hottie! Don't tell him I said he was a heap of statuesque meat man. Ugh, so
Exactly.
Yeah, and he finds Caroline, and he's like, "Look, you want to be the lucky lady that goes to the dance with me?" And Caroline's, well, like, Dolph is asking me. Actually, he's in the middle of asking me right now.
He's working on that shit. But Robbie's not concerned about this Dolph jerk because she's going with him. Because Robbie's not as dumb as Dolph yet. I don't know what the transformation process is. He's just currently just mean.
Dolph, I think, started out very dumb, and I think that the steroids don't really affect that.
Maybe, you're right. It's just he doesn't seem to be any meaner, at least. Maybe it was.
No, I think his
Robbie
meanness goes into dumbness.
Yes. Robbie
that's
had
where
brain
I
to
aim
corrupt.
to be. If you can filter your anger into being an idiot, that's okay with me.
Well, that's much better. A lot of idiots are angry. But
Dolph is mad. He's like, "Hey, like, what are you doing?" He's going with me. And he's like, "You know what?" Robbie's like, "You know what? You really shouldn't hang out with these goons." Throws a working punch.
Yep.
And
it makes Dolph... a slap, like a drummy noise. It's a good effect, but not correct for the situation.
And then you can see the punch kind of miss him. It's funny.
Yeah, it really I think they were kind of like, rush the side, brother.
There's computers in those heads. Like, they weigh 40-pound like machines up there.
Well,
my radio really picked up my little hands here. This is my new invention.
He made sure that the camera was in the right position, so you couldn't see it. But I'm sure
it was well directed. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm sure he didn't slap his arm like that, you know.
Yeah,
did you think Paul White's slaps were lacking his chops at All Out? Like, I felt like none of them had that thump that you can hear in an arena. They were all slapped.
Did you mention that on the podcast?
I did.
Or did okay. I was like, where did I hear that?
I'm still willing to die on this hill. I thought those slaps were measly, but he's, a big guy. I would have liked to see a QT Marshall just, whoop,
Yeah. I mean, maybe Paul White just shouldn't wrestle anymore. Sorry.
But everyone used to chant "Please retire" at him when he was in WWE.
Exactly.
And I had this like mom tension moment where I was like, nobody chant "Please retire." Just let him have this with QT. Like, they just need a little boy time.
It's like he's walking around the ring like Matt Hardy used to walk, where it looked like it hurt.
Matt Hardy's little knees, I know. Anyway. Okay. Robbie is like, just demands Dolph away, and I felt like Caroline didn't agree to go to the dance with him. Did you feel that when they they leave her like a WWE interviewer, where like they just walked away from the frame, and she's just kind of like,
back to you guys.
Like, she doesn't even say anything, and I'm like, give her a line. Like, that was a big moment that just happened, and she's just kind of like,
Yeah, I was like,
I'll fall down, go boom,
racist, and then walked away. She's just stuck there dealing with it.
Should I go with him? He seems like a dangerous man. Well, and she does go with him. Spoiler alert. I wish they would have had a scene where his spikes were popping through his tuxedo, but they did have the scene where he like looks in the mirror, and we got a goof out of that.
They probably just didn't want to ruin the tuxedo because they were going to use it in a bunch of other episodes. Have to keep it nice.
Do it through the buttonhole. It was right in the middle. It was perfect.
Yeah. They got it from Mail's Warehouse. They have to keep it.
Yeah. So Robbie asks her to the dance. He goes to his locker, and he has his own little cigar box of, what was it? Dinomat, the Masters, like the Dutch Masters.
Dutch Masters, Dino Masters. He's got some real Cubans.
It says Dino Masters, I think.
Does it really say that on it? They're called
it's
monsters.
Like the Pocket Monster.
That's right. Pokemon wasn't invented till Friends.
Yeah, the one where they catch the bugs. That's what it is. But I think it's interesting that they're shouting about how they're dying in here and like about him not washing his gym clothes, but they do want to be eaten. So it definitely is a vor thing specifically, not just suicidal tendencies. Like, these things want to be consumed.
Yeah, it's psycho vision.
Yeah.
He just wanted a Pepsi, just one Pepsi.
Yeah.
Like, is there any equivalent of like a creature or a thing that wants so badly to die for an unjust cause?
I mean, there's in Hitchhiker's Guide for a Galaxy, there's a pig that wants you to like choose what part of it you want. It like talks to you while you're picking like what you're gonna eat off of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's offended by
maybe Charlotte's Web. No, she didn't want to die that bad. They were
part of
like
it wanting to
bullying
die?
about. Spoiler alert. I don't know. We can talk about it in my DMs.
Okay.
And that goes for everybody, but I may or may not respond.
There we go.
Yeah.
But Spike walks up accusing Robbie of being a house and also of retaining water and also of recent change in diet, which is the hinting at what's really going on here.
Yeah. And Robbie's like, he's like, why are you accusing me? And Spike's just like, come on, man. He's like, you're doing the big
Spike's
T.
so
The big
cool.
T.
What's another way of saying that?
The
I got my
big T.
spikes naturally. Have you met my mother? That's where I really thought he was Eddie Payson.
Oh, it's such an Italian line.
Have you met my mother? She's got spikes for days. You'd be terrified of her. But you don't. You're not the type. You can't handle a spike. My name's Spike. Robbie.
You've been swallowing spines. You've been riding the wild noids, popping porcupines.
What's wrong with you, brother?
There's drug nicknames. Brendan, there's drug nicknames. But yeah, obviously, like, people know when you're doing this kind of thing. Like, it's very clear he's doing steroids. He's like a full Kenny Powers at this point.
Oh yeah, but is that so bad?
No, it's not. It's one of the best characters in the world. But yeah. What?
Yeah, we get the part about his mother, and then it just brings into question because we've never seen Spike's family ever.
They don't even come up ever. Like,
good.
His
Mother's covered in spikes. His dad's, like, doing fine.
He's getting a pack of cigarettes. He'll be back. Don't worry about his dad. Don't worry about him.
What's that meteor shower coming down? Just look up there.
Distraction. Meteor shower is a scary thing for them to bring up in this show at all because it's coming. Like, they're gonna get their comeuppance.
Yeah, but like we've said many times in the show, the morality of these characters, they seem to not care if they live or die.
Yeah,
mortality.
They love it. They love dying. They love making teens stronger and dying in that way. So the way Robbie eats the most recent one, it reminded me of the Full Up Brother, because you can see the puppet put in his mouth and go like hum hum hum, and then they make a gulp noise, but like the puppet's clearly like, I still got it in here.
Yeah, it can't go anywhere. There's nowhere for it to go. He's just stuck in there.
That's like when baby eats ice cream. It's like weird foam stuff all over his face.
But so we have Robbie. He's back at home waiting outside the bathroom because Charlene's washing her unmentionables in the sink. Which I don't know. They have
what does that even mean?
One of her unmentionables is literally like a sheer scarf.
You can't say that. Don't say it. It's unmentionable.
What's it for? Why is it unmentionable? I can't have a scarf in the sink.
It's like
I didn't see a single underwear. I didn't see a bra. Like, what are her unmentionables? Are just cloths.
Yeah.
Be brave. Be brave or don't say unmentionables.
They don't wear pants, so they don't wear underwear. Like it's like the scene. There's a scene in one of
say underwear.
there's like a scene in another episode where Earl pretends to have X-ray glasses and he's like, Fran, I can see your underwear. We're like, she's not wearing any pants.
Her tail's out.
What's holding them up? Do we tie a ribbon around the tail? Is the tail her period? What is going on? What are the rules?
It's impossible.
You have to tell me.
Impossible.
Yeah. So, but Robbie kicks her out. He barges into the door and he's just like, hey, you left your dirty clothes in the sink, and he throws the whole sink at her.
Yeah. Throw the baby out with the sink. I don't think that's the saying.
The baby out with the sink. I just love that he's like really making a mess of their house.
Yeah, he's just
destroying.
He just did this to go flex in the mirror too. Like, he had
and
nothing
they
really
didn't
to do.
even cover whether he could get a boner or not, and that's what all of this has been about. And if you're gonna say unmentionables, at least say if Robbie's got anger boners or if he can't get it up. Like,
I write letters to Disney every day about this. Like, release the boner tapes. We need.
They go with.
I want to see her emails.
Mark Zuckerberg.
I want to see Earl's P tape.
Yeah, Earl's P tape, please.
From Sarah's friend. from Sarah's good friend, Tom Arnold.
We're still working on that. Who do I name as my more celebrity friend? David Arquette or Tom Arnold? That's always my question. I usually go with Arquette.
Yeah.
I mean, Arquette's got your work tattooed on him. Does Tom Arnold?
David Arquette is like a very actually good friend. Tom Arnold has not given me his phone number yet.
That's fucked up.
I could get it today if I wanted it.
That's stupid.
Me and Issa are still trying.
They're stupid.
Me and Issa are still trying to find that episode of Family Feud.
I know. It's like it acts like it lives. Like, where would it be?
I don't know. It's not on Hulu yet. They only put up certain episodes of that season, but not that one. And I want to see Dalton and RJ and David Arquette do Family Feud against Pee Wee Herman.
Amazing.
That's so great.
Anyway, the survey says that nearby in the kitchen, Earl is still trying to push the refrigerator back where it goes. Shitty directions.
Yeah.
And Baby's being a little shit. I'm just
Why does he need to help with the baby for this? It's just move it to where it was. There's probably like a stain on the floor.
The dad can't. That's why the baby's saying that. The joke is that the dad's not making
moving anywhere
any
at all.
progress at all, and the baby's being like, and then I'm like,
his job
that's an energy I can get down with. Heckle,
look, his
baby.
job is pushing over redwood trees. The consistency of this makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
How much is that fridge? Heavier than a. But you know what? Maybe he could push it over, no problem. But then he can't. What does he drag the tree somewhere? Does all he do is
I
push
guess
it
they
over?
would have a tree
it's
dragger.
one specific set of skills.
I don't know.
Yeah, Legend of Dragger.
Well, they won't give. They won't give. That was the most Ben joke you could have ever made, Sarah.
I know we're lining up in the notes. I know we are.
Monica. But they won't hire Monica back, so like who is dragging the trees?
No. Oh no, okay.
Sorry.
I forgot. With the famous haircut.
Yes. So Robbie is leaving the house and Earl is like, hey, you know what? Like, you're being a jerk. And he goes to like hit him.
Well,
Does he go to
tells
hit
him he's
Robbie?
not so big that he can't teach him a lesson, and Robbie like grabs his wrist and crunches it a little bit.
Yeah, and then he takes Baby's rattle, just crushes it in his hand.
And Baby's like, that's the point where Baby does some great acting, because Baby's genuinely upset and just like, that's not
he didn't think it could happen.
It was really like, I think Baby felt for the first time in a long time that there might be consequences to his like hectoring, not even heckling,
yes.
Hectoring. I learned that word this week, and it means to talk to someone in a bullying way.
But,
like Issa's Uncle Hector.
So this goes on with like Robbie. Robbie tells Fran not to wait up for him.
I don't know.
He calls Earl fat boy. This is a weird thing because they don't have the grandma Ethel in this episode, and she would love all this Earl abuse because she just despises him. But like she's missing out on all of it as Robbie just like leaves, and then we catch up with him at the dance. But it's already after he got kicked out of the dance is when we catch up with him. They didn't have the budget for the dance.
Yeah, because he dumped the punch bowl.
Well, he was making a move on her.
Yeah, she says it like she's like, "Oh yeah, after you dumped that punch bowl on that kid." And he was just asking, did he have the date or the time?
I would have
the time.
Because I was like,
on his feet, I would have immediately been like, somebody spiked the punch. I saw it. And I don't stand for that. And
yeah,
exactly,
that's why I have this spike
detector
coming out of my body that might hurt you.
It's a stud finder.
Straight edge for life.
Absolutely.
You saw the guy doing coke in the room, and it's like
that's Kevin Samuels.
No. If I were her, I'd be kind of like, she's still a little. He's like, I had to stand up for you. I'd be a little like, I'm probably not going to continue with this date because you've
really embarrassing to be in that
I'm
situation. To be with somebody who threw punch at somebody at the dance.
And it was like for asking him, like he was just being a little weebly. He goes to his school. He's his peer. Like he shouldn't have done punch on that kid.
I mean, who else are you going to dumb punch on though? He'd have to go to another school. It's just convenience. He needed to do it.
Yeah,
he's testing his boundaries as a bully. But he's pissed because he wanted a guy with muscles, but now she's not into it because he doesn't seem to understand that like she didn't want an asshole. Like that wasn't a part of the equation.
Exactly.
Like,
it's a very
I was gonna say or something. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, like it's a very sitcom moment where it's just like, yeah, you're big and buff, but like I liked you for you.
It's the Magi.
She was like, you never even asked me, and that was like the thing where it really confirms that he was lying about having a girlfriend.
Yeah, because he didn't even know she liked him. But that's at least several years into some relationships before you start to be like, do they like me?
Well, we don't know how long he was training with his dad. This might be at the dance 3 years later. We don't know.
She's been through so much shit
14 weeks
now.
I swear.
Different person.
But I did feel for her. I felt like it was kind of one of those like, hey, you fucked up and she's going to walk away and you kind of lost her because of your decisions. And I thought that was... Because then we got the real romance, and Spike returns to just handle the situation. Because
Robbie tries to stop her from leaving physically after she doesn't stay to talk to him. He like goes to like grab her and like pushes her against the locker.
Yeah,
it's just
thanks.
It almost gets very dark. But luckily,
it was dark the whole time. Like it was dark. He's crushing his brother's toy, but like I think that it's one of those like. Yeah, you really don't have control of this anymore, man. Like, I think that was a decision that was made to be like, you see how bad it could get, wrestlers. This is not a metaphor that's very veiled.
They aren't even like, it's straight up steroids in this. They put it in the title.
Steroids are bad.
They didn't even try to like sugarcoat this.
And they want to die. They love to die. That to me is like the funniest choice of the whole episode. Is like, yeah, let's personify steroids like the little freaking Flintstones, like record players and stuff. But they're like, yeah, eat me. I want to die. It's like, oh my god, okay.
Temp work.
Sure, I'll help.
But
that is a pretty big trope in this show, though, where the food wants to be eaten, wants to be eaten.
It gets some disgusting pleasure out of it.
Spike, when he does approach, he does make sure to give the best, like, the over the plate line of the episode, which is that Robbie ate something that didn't agree with him. He felt really good about that delivery.
Yeah.
But so everyone claps, and then Robbie's pissed off. He's like asking what he's doing there. His date's clearly going well. He just put his hands on her, like, to stop her from leaving. Sounds like going pretty well. And Spike is one to put out later.
He laid hands. You're going to get these hands. You're not going to get these hands. Because the real hands of the episode are going to plug your spikes into the very locker that you pried open to cause your problems in the first place, Robbie.
That's
poetic justice.
When he goes to hit Spike, he dodges them into the locker. I do like Spike gives Caroline this out. I don't think she believed it, but she does play it like she believes it. He said there was like a crisis with the decorations, which I don't think she has any stake in because she left when he got kicked out for making a mess. But I think she saw like, I'll get the fuck out of here. This sucks. I'll leave. Thanks, Spike.
Yeah, and Spike basically just has to like calm him down. Like he's just like, look, dude, like you're hurting everyone around you, and plus you keep touching my jacket.
That ain't gonna fly much longer.
Yeah, so he's basically just like, you're just gonna stay right there, stuck to the locker until the steroids are all out of your system.
And I'm gonna watch you lose your muscle mass all night, brother. That was like so beautiful. I was like, if we could only do this to everyone who was having issues taking too many steroids,
train spotting.
Watch them lose their muscle. And also, I think Spike's probably gonna like build them up a little bit. They're probably gonna have some good talks. I wouldn't mind a DVD extra of what they talked about as he goes through his like roid release and digestion of these living things, and does he shit out carcasses? Like, is it owl pellets? Like, what?
He has to
what are we talking
the
here?
methadone from his friend and like sit there with a bucket for shitting, a bucket for puking. It's all Ewan McGregor in Train Spotting when he's getting off heroin. He's got to do one of those.
Oh my god.
He has to dive through a toilet into another universe. That's what happens every time you quit any drug.
And again, these teenage boys are just staying at the school all night long.
Back then.
No one has a problem with these teenage dinosaurs just hanging out at La Brea. It's the pits.
So we cut back, and it's the morning, and Spike brings him home, and Robbie's like, please don't yell. He's like, it's okay. He's got the hangover.
There's no hangover, Dewey.
Sure. Was that punch spiked?
But so don't worry. It gets better, as he tells him. After it gets a whole lot worse, Which.
And you gotta apologize to everyone you've ever hurt in the planet. And I love how he's like, bring them in one by one or in small groups.
He's doing his 12-step program already. He's gotta go back and do all his apologies. Yep. But they make another fat joke about Earl as he comes in, and Spike says, "Oh, we got a group already." He's good with the one-liners in this one.
I didn't catch that. I did not catch that, and I shouldn't have laughed.
It's an ironic laugh at the campiness. That's what I'll say.
It's the dare shirt of laughs when you're smoking weed.
Which is the superest, cleverest people can be.
And then Earl's got to be the beta and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, my muscular son.
Please, my little boy, you're so big and scary.
Don't hurt me.
Don't hurt me. You really see the damage."
And so Earl's like, he's like, "Well, you know what? I'll just go have breakfast out in the backyard." And
from my fridge that hasn't been working for days now.
But Robbie has him wait because he wants to talk to him about it, and he tells him he did a stupid thing and he's sorry, and doesn't really go into it. I don't think he never tells him what he did. Like because Earl's just mad that he quit exercising.
No. He doesn't fully admit to it. Yeah. Protect the dads.
Yeah, you only tell them so much. You gotta wait till they're on their deathbed, then you go really into it.
Then you get, wait till those secrets come out.
His favorite drug was PCP.
No, that's the reverse. That is what my dad told me on his deathbed.
Wow, that's so impressive.
We were watching Whitest Kids You Know. This is what I chose to watch with my dad this last week. And he was like, yep. There was the episode of the Gallon of PCP, and my dad is like, after years of like, he's the coyest motherfucker about everything. Like, I would ask him, like, do you believe in God? He's like, I believe that people believe in God, and like, so God exists for those people. He would just never give me a straight answer. And like, I'd ask them.
Dude, Rudy did the same thing when we were on his deathbed like a few months ago. The nurses would be like, do you believe in God? And Rudy would be like, yeah, might not be what you think. It was all very like, woo, like I could tell he was seeing like more, but it was also like, you're still firmly on Earth. You don't get to know the secrets of why these steroids want to be eaten so bad.
Natural DMT flowing out of you.
So, those DMTLs are like, they'll tell everything.
Shout out people, the DMTLs.
They keep stealing my underwear.
How do these dinosaurs wear underwear?
42. Yeah, and so Earl's still under the impression that Robbie has been working out, but he's like, "You stopped, didn't you?" Idiot.
Yeah. And he goes, "Yeah, Dad, I stopped working out."
No more exercising for little Robbie.
It's like, well, that's probably a problem in itself, but okay, we'll breeze past that.
But Robbie does tell.
Don't worry, Dad, I won't do that harmful exercise anymore. That made me feel pretty good and bonded with you for a montage.
I mean, like, they have. I feel like this is the third time they had like an exercise montage with Robbie, or maybe it was just Earl last time because he had to fight like a big guy. But
yeah, he did. It's like
Earl's
boxing
is
training.
the montage king of this show, just constantly doing them. But
yes, the montage king. And
that's a good reference.
Robbie. So to make it up for him, Robbie's just like, I'll do anything, and Earl just like stares at the fridge and's like, could you put that back?
And he's like, I might need a little help. But that's not even the punchline moment because
basically.
Dude, Spike, I was like having a moment where I'm like, they're really building up this character to be like such a protagonist because he's really like fixed the whole episode. And then Spike's like, yeah, I lightened it up by eating one of your ribs. I made it light for you. I thought he was really gonna like just put it back and be like, and then one more lesson. But we got to get that joke in. We didn't have a proper cold open.
A warm finish. That's what they call them. Happy ending.
And he.
So yeah, that is what that's how the episode ends. That's Steroids to Heaven.
Sandwich.
Exactly. And this is, it's a good like closer because like the episode you were on last time was about them discovering refrigerators. So this is,
and we kept talking about this episode during that one. So those are really the yin and yang episodes. If you're only going to listen to two, and you got to have Sarah Shockey in them. Those are the two to listen to. And you've already done it today, so congrats.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And thank you, Sarah, for joining us again.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Do we have any final thoughts on this episode, what it was about, what it speaks to? It's very over the plate, don't do steroids, but it kind of glamorizes them at the same time. If you don't care about other people, nothing bad happened in this episode.
And if you know that the steroids want to be eaten and they want to make you bad, it's kind of you could argue either way for this.
Yeah. Isn't that like a
Dolph seemed fine. Dolph was had no consequences whatsoever. So I agree.
Yeah, he didn't have
spikes. I was going to quit drugs before I saw this episode. Now I'm just to each his own. Yeah.
Maybe I'll get spikes. Maybe I'll get a couple spikes through my nips. Who knows? That's the OnlyFans page right there.
Only France. Only France.
Not Robbie.
It's like that Marilyn Manson song. I don't like the drugs, but the drugs like me.
I only know once the beautiful people.
The only one sucking me off is me. You can always just rhyme the same words and it's fine.
Yeah, like Fred Durst, he does it.
Yeah, well, I mean that's his right. He invented rap and rock.
Yes,
and the internet.
The internet.
It's true.
Al Gore.
He invented the 5G chips. He invented COVID.
Yeah.
He invented those 5D towers that look like trees.
Fucking Fred Durst. Fuck.
So needed.
I think those are Legos.
The Lego sets.
Those are Lego sets.
Those are the expensive ones.
You can play chess on them if you need to.
I won't buy Legos unless I can play chess on them. That is my
pretty cool.
My boundary I've set for my Lego purchasing. Tim is a big Lego person, literally, and just he's into Legos. So
yes, Marty goes through phases. He loves Legos, but then he likes a perfect workstation. So I feel like eventually we'll get him a real man den and just fill it with Legos and the little drawers.
With Legos, it's going to be a boy den.
Yeah, an hour den. A den for Marty and me, but only when I'm being cool. Not if I'm acting like a girlfriend.
Yeah. It's the He-Man Women Haters Club from Little Rascals. The only exception is Whoopi Goldberg. I'm pretty sure.
You could just call it the He-Man Women Fearers Club, and it would just be
fish
fine.
fear me, women love me. Wait, no. Women fear me, fish. I don't.
Fish and women both have a hard time respecting me because of my actions.
I've joined an uneven alliance with fish against women. This is what my hat will say.
Fish against
women.
Fish for the ethical treatment of women. And Ben.
Feta? Feta?
I don't know why all these fish really want to give you a special
They
shout
do
that. Aqua Ben.
They don't have any feelings, though.
That's okay, Nirvana. I think they do.
According...
Never mind.
The baby from Dinosaurs is suing Dinosaurs
for being on the album.
Sexual exploitation.
Mom!
But yeah, it's just you're leaning too Elmo. I mean, it's almost the same exact voice.
I can't.
But he had to prove he could, since it's the same guy. It's Kevin Clash. He had to prove it to Michael Jacobs.
He really puts an edge on baby that I just don't have from experience. I only have Elmo, but I'm young.
You got time. Yeah, wait till the world takes the piss out of you. Then baby.
There was.
Yeah, I'm waiting. When I'm 45, I'll be ready.
It's your biological clock. It's baby fever.
Only women in their 30s settle for Elmo.
Oh yeah, because he can provide a living for them.
Yeah. That tickles me to no end. But do you have anything to plug? I mean, we got Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling. It's a great podcast. I don't even know anything about wrestling. I just listen to Tim all day, and then I listen to that podcast, and it's great.
You get a very fragmented understanding of modern wrestling.
It's true. I get to hear about hot guys' nipples sometimes. I mean, it just depends on
That's my favorite. Yeah, I also have been streaming every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central on my friend's channel, twitch.tv/PS_Garrick, Garak. We're playing adventure games right now. We're playing this one that's like, basically you're scrolling through old GeoCity pages and flagging them for content like you're the internet police, but it's made in a very like understanding of what it's doing way. Like, it's a pretty modern game. You'll have to scroll through my Twitter because I can't remember. And that's very on brand for my persona on that Twitter channel. We also have a Discord. I don't know how to do that. But if you just go to our Twitch page, PS_Garrick with a K, you can subscribe and find out all that stuff. And it's a lot of fun. It's me and my two friends, Ben and Grayson.
I love adventure games, and the specific game you just described sounds like something I like just came out of my brain. So now I need to.
It's amazing, and we've only played it for 1 week, and it's the same guy that created this game called Dropsy, which is about this terrifying looking clown who actually just wants to help people, which is another game that felt like straight out of my brain.
It's amazing. I had not played Dropsy, but that one I had heard of. That's on my wish list on Steam.
Yeah, they're both really good. Yeah,
but, I want to try that other one out. Let's see. But also, have you been on Hello from the Magic Tavern lately? You were a frog, correct?
Yeah, I've been a frog. I've been the unwed mother Daphne. I've done some random little side voices and big scenes. I think that my storyline's wrapped up for the time being, but eventually I know they'll come back around needing a frog with some wit. And those guys are awesome. Check out Hello from the Magic Tavern. They're doing so many cool things in different channels in different ways.
Yeah, that's a great podcast too.
Yeah. Also, Sarah, so the Cheerful Wrestling Show are you doing more of that?
I'm going to do one big final episode of all the footage that I haven't done anything with. So glad to know there's one demand for it, because I have a lot. I just haven't done anything with it yet. So I will be releasing that eventually if I can get a hold of Jerry from IWTV.
Okay, because that's awesome. That's an awesome series.
Thanks. It was originally designed to be shows for intermissions for live shows, but everything changed, and IWTV pays by the length of your show. So I get an embarrassing amount of money every month for CWS, which is like 17 cents. And I'm like, well, maybe with all this footage, I'll do one long episode. And it's not about the money. But literally 1 month I got a payout for 68 cents.
So
and I was like, you couldn't give me one penny to make it funny. They owe me one.
Yeah.
Take it out of my
one
check.
penny away. 1 penny away from nice.
Yes.
All right, cool. So yeah, everyone check out Sarah's projects. Thank you again for hanging out with us.
And thanks for having me.
Thank you two friends for the episode where they invented 69. It was the one where it was better if they were similar height. That was what the episode was called. And thank you to Jeremy Hunter for our theme song, Scotch and Network.
Yes.
You can check them out on Spotify, Bandcamp, Patreon.
Love Scotch and
Great,
Network.
a winning endorsement for
Scotch and Network.
one of the best things ever.
They got to perform at PAX last weekend in front of like a huge crowd.
Dang, good for them. I love it.
That's really cool. Our friend Woody plays drums in the live band, and
that's awesome.
Exactly.
My friend Woody too now.
Woody 2 is even better. The sequel, that guy's great. Woody 2.
Woody 2. Yeah.
Won't he? Woody and Won't he?
Yeah.
Those are the two brothers. No, never mind. Anyway, so thank you to. I just had to do not a Toy Story joke because he hates that, so I had to go somewhere else with it. But thanks to Abe Shenanigans for help with our logo, for drawing the beautiful pictures of me and Tim that I ruined with scary puppets. And thanks to Zach George for letting me use his studio and editing our podcast and having a bunch of babies, because he just keeps pumping those out.
Thank you.
Zach is having another child, and he still produces this podcast for
Edit
free.
this out if you want this not in there, but congrats either way from all of us here at today's Sinclairity Steroid episode.
The prospective name is The Storm and, so far for the second daughter. They're going to name her The Storm.
Nice.
So,
The Storm? Yeah, it's like a Metal Gear Solid
I'm not
villain.
really a nerd, so I don't know what either of those things are.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you didn't know any of the other brilliance of episode references I dropped from other shows, and then at the tail end, I don't know those references.
I don't own a TV. I don't own a TV.
My man, too cool.
I don't listen to Top 40.
Also, we talked about it a bunch, but also check out their podcast, him and Chris and Zach's Keystone Copycats, which comes out every Wednesday. They are finishing up their
second season,
their Point Breakdown season. So, yeah.
Nice.
And that's pretty much all. I don't want to talk about Zach anymore. So next week we're gonna do season 3, episode 16, which we didn't already record. Wink. And that's Honey, I Missed the Kids, which is a reference to the Friends episode where they blew up the baby. So that one, we'll see you next week for that one. And everybody, I hope you enjoy Going Extinct.